afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero, Psych Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on the road to Kharkov. Between the West, got here Lt.Baumy fighting for the Soviet Union. Socialism taking on the role here of the 10th Tank Corps, ready to bash through the fascists under the command here of Kryptic RTS, fighting for the Wehrmacht to Germany. Deutschland taking on the role here of the stoic 78th Sturm Division. We got here encirclement, lightning war, and elite troops with double machine gun and infantry bulletins versus Baumy's shock rifle, Landslide, and advanced warfare tactics with double infantry and near bulletins. We see Lt.Baumy is definitely not going for the usual Soviet meta because he's going with conscripts. No penal troopers here for Lt.Baumy, only stoic Frontniki who have yet to be convicted of any crimes. Yet. 74-2 Grenadier start there for Kryptic RTS, much more standard, much more conventional, also a lot more functional, and certainly also just less spammy that most so it goes for, but either way. Conscripts are plenty there for Lt.Baumy, going into 3 conscripts, which would indicate advanced warfare could maybe on the menu, since that one does work well with it. The conscript assault package, and of course the repair kits work quite well with it. We'll have to see though what it does go for. We got more Grenadiers on the way there for Kryptic as he moves sort of a bit aggressively out. He's splitting out his forces, and that way he can sort of reach more territory, obviously, but at the same time, it does mean he will be less concentrated in the early game, and that could prove a bit disadvantageous there for Kryptic RTS. The Wehrmacht tends to, particularly in the early game, sort of rely on the combined arms efforts of the units. They're sort of not, individually amazing, they're sort of more amazing when they can get to work together. So we'll have to see how it works out here for Kryptic. They got Pani sending out their doubling engineers for Baumy. Could be a tech up there. Might be just going for more engineers to come more territory. Also note here about Baumy's game there. He's not quite rushing for the fuel though. There's also something to note. We got sandbags in the center. No other sandbags. We laid down some sandbags around his cutoff point. Holding up here before moving on to the fuel point. And there you go. Second engineer squad out there for Baumy. And the 10th Tank Corps. With Safi or Pioneers versus conscripts, MB42 could shift itself a bit further forward to support the Pioneers a bit more successfully. And overall, more Grenadiers being dispatched to these. So it looks like Kryptic's going to try and put pressure around his opponent's fuel point, interestingly enough. And for Baumy, looks like the engineers are doing something. It is in fact a support company. We can see the little shield going up there, which signifies support company. We haven't seen those in quite some time from the Soviets, at least not right away, but here we are. Baumy with the triple conscripts into support and Campania's build, so that could mean mortars, maxims, and field guns. Definitely not your usual sort of Soviet opening or Soviet build at all. I am seeing an increase though, more players going for conscripts, but I mean the overwhelming number will still pull for penal troopers. Second MB42 for Kryptic, so getting more firepower, so that way wrangle the rations in a rather firepower heavy madness. There you go, Conscript being pushed back, overwhelmed by the Grenadiers here. Not much resistance in either side. He could try and push out a Maxim maybe reasonably fast here versus Kryptic. Right now the eastern side looks to be collapsing as Baumy is not advancing, well, not fast enough on the western side either to really cause Kryptic to have to divert forces from there. It looks like he's going to really make the big push in the east here. MG42 being dispatched to support the Grenadiers east and advance, leaving only the MG42 and some Pioneers to defend the east. We see here Flamethrower Pioneers on the cutoff point as well. So Kryptic is expecting something to happen there, while he's at the same time got this planned out here. So there's an interesting opening there from Kryptic, actually. An interesting opening with a clear sort of plan behind. A bit risky though, but so far it's working out there versus Baumy surprisingly well. Baumy there going for a mortar to support his Frontniki against the fascists, the Hitlerites. And we got Pioneers retreating. He's got the take up there ready. Grenadiers now flanking behind the conscripts there, so at the same time, while slight push towards here, he's also trying to sort of keep Baumy there from just being able to divert everything towards the southern area by the looks of it. Though it does, of course, then weaken his push for the enemy fuel point, so it's, again, risks overall diluting Kryptic's forces, which are pretty overextended at the moment. We'll have to see how that works out. You also need to get that like to make a nice company up pretty schnell. Dundee's continuing after the conscript. We got a rifle grenade off there. Fires at them. And oh! Baumy didn't pay attention. A huge wipe there. That's a big win for Kryptic. That is a big win. That's 240 manpower there gone for Baumy. And only about 30 munitions there for Kryptic. Like to make a nice company up. Still, Baumy does manage at the cutoff point, which Kryptic did not have defended there. And overall, he's not making much more progress around here, so it's at a bit of a cost there for Kryptic at the moment. Bit of a cost. We also got the 3rd Mortar Team here ready to support, in this case bombarding the MD-42. Grenadiers overwhelmed there by Baumy's flanking conscripts. Very nice work there, very nice work. And they're going towards here. We got the MD-42 dealing with engineers there, and the conscripts following up next into the MD-42 as well. And there you go. Pushkin immediately gets pushed into the dirt. Banker up here for Kryptic for healing and whatnot, and we got Panzergrenadier Hagen men of the same day Sturm Division. Technically, any men that would have been equipped with assault rifles like that, they would have been part of the Stug Brigade. It would have been the escort infantry for the Stugs. Interestingly enough. And now he's pushing the MD-42 there towards the field point. A bit risky here, a bit risky, but considering there's actually nothing around there for Baumy, it could actually work out there. Plus he's meant to reconnect his southern fuel. So that's looking pretty good here for Kryptic. His initial strategy, despite seeming a bit wonky, is turning out to be surprisingly effective. Though again, it does run a bit on a lot of risks, and in that regard I suppose it gets somewhat lucky. But at the same time, Baumy has, besides the one conscript loss, not exactly suffered huge amounts of damage there to Kryptic, and he can certainly still, you know, fight valiantly. Medic bunker up there for Kryptic. Troops sealing reinforcing, particularly that machine gun crew has been in dire need of some first aid. There you go, push towards here. He could smoke the house, but looks like he's not up for that. Do we have any Molotovs here? That would also be a good choice with these conscripts there for Baumy, who probably should consider more infantry, though instead he's got a max machine gun out there to support his frontline troops versus Kryptic. Some suppressive firecrackers can certainly do a lot of good there. Panzergrenadier Sturmgeist there ranging on the conscripts, catching that in the open. We got flamethrower team nearby as well. So far Baumy a bit slow to react, and what we got here, mortar retreating, and then he just retreats to the Panzers, then actually in a pretty bad position, no cover. And the flamethrowers pretty much prevented from going into cover, so I think that was the right response there by Kryptic. He did successfully push back the mortars, so that should buy him some time. Meanwhile, Maxim guarding off a western push there by Kryptic. And in the end here, Baumy wins the fight for the northern field point, though it has been rendered neutral, but at least it prevented from falling into the hands of Kryptic and the German army. Kryptic there going for a granate in the alpha zone to bombard the Russians. Sandbags going down on the eastern victory point here, troops healing reinforcing. He could try and take up. He also got lightning wall for Kryptic. Blitzkrieg. Going for G43s, tactical movement, relief infantry, air support, and of course the venerable Tiger tank. We'll have to see how that works out for Kryptic. He could have also gone for encirclement, or he could have gone for elite troops, all will I think provide him some different benefits. Of course, two of the doctrines would have provided him with stormtroopers, which could certainly be quite handy as well. So Baumy here now, more focusing here on the eastern side, while slowly pushing out the west. Kryptic could consider maybe some light vehicles. Also got mines, so I need to make it harder there for Kryptic to just push up there. Very good. Very good. Take up there for Baumy, can soon go for T-70, and that he got Kryptic. Will be caught in a slightly awkward position. He has not laid down any mines, he's got no 222s. And no anti-tank against to ward off against any light armor there from Baumy and the 10th Tank Corps. There's the fight against the conscripts there. Back and forth. Grenadier for not quite within range. It's actually around the carve point, so you can shoot around the centre, but can't support the Kryptic's main efforts here. Rifle grenade on the conscripts. And we got another wipe though. He is absolutely lethal with those rifle grenades. Absolutely lethal. That's the thing to remember. While you get protection from grenades while in heavy cover, light cover does not provide the same bonuses. So rifle grenades there, if your troops are sufficiently bunched up in the right way, can wipe you. And looks like they've forgot about that. Against that is 2 infantry squads wiped there by Kryptic. That is pretty bad for Baumy, pretty bad. And that is definitely some big wins for Kryptic. Mein Gott, Jürgen, what kind of rifle grenade did you use? Ah, I used this one. Sister Störer. Ah, yeah, that one. By Krupp Industries. Yeah, it has the best performance. Hey, is this some kind of advertisement? You know we can't do that here. Shut up. Maximum creeping up here against the Kryptic southern point. And we got the T-7 light tank all the way there for Baumy. And that's going to be a quite, I think, nice counterattack element here versus Kryptic, because Kryptic does very much lack any and all anti-tank. No, and he's taking from him, which is good. I mean, he does have the fuel leak there, but the problem is against the T-70, you've got nothing against it. He can very quickly swing the game back in favour of the Soviet players. This is rather risky, to put it mildly. I mean, we don't even have any telemines, which could at least in some way catch things up there. He's laying down S-mines here, but he probably should have been laying down telemines. Oh, at that point, he's being pursued here by the T-70. Mine goes off, they're killing some of the MD crew members. And we got shock rifle here for Baumy and shock troopers. Hello. Baumy is definitely not playing by the usual Soviet metagame today. Shock troopers, conscripts, maxims, mortars. It is a damn refreshing sight to see. What can you say, my dear viewers? Got the T-70 rolling down the eastern side here, pursuing the German army here in full retreat. Well, most of the German army in this sector anyways. And right now, of course, Kryptic is now in a really bad position. They're rushed out of Pack 40, but right now, the fox is loose in the chicken coop. In this case, turns out the chickens have Panzerfausts. Most foxes are not prepared for that. Fun fact. Granted, most foxes don't drive about in light tanks. At least to my knowledge. Troops are reinforcing healing. Got the pants up. They can only feel to got here. Mortar white. Now that's a big loss there for Kryptic. In particular, the Baumy can steal it back. Try and pop a grenade around it. But in this case, he's just carrying it with double flame for engineers. Considering that Kryptic has been laying down a lot of mines, there's only no penalty for just going heavy on the flame for us there. Versus Kryptic in a pen can be quite effective. Got the shock troops moving up as well. So all of a sudden, in a single move here, Baumy has swung the game around despite losing 2 conscripts. He's stolen a mortar. He's got a T-70. I mean, Kryptic is in a really bad spot. The lack of anti-tank and any sort of anti-tank defenses rather gave Baumy an opening, and Baumy seized upon it. Completely. Oh, we even got a demo charge on the calf point. Now that's just dirty. And meanwhile, we got support McCraw up there. Troop ceiling reinforcing. As opposed to dust make up for some of those rifle grenade wipes. It's actually quite rare to see rifle grenade wipes. I mean, they used to be a lot more common, but apparently here, Baumy is sort of one of the few who apparently you can get it off regularly against. Shock troops there trying to stall the Germans, but with their only sight machine guns, the chance of doing it are pretty light. Decent rolling hit this way into the Pack 40. Good hit there from the 75mm armor piercing round. Fun fact, the Germans actually had tungsten rounds for sort of their anti-tank weapons sort of at the early stage of the war, but they had to discontinue them because they lacked tungsten overall and had to use it for other measures. Which also sort of one of the newer weapons, the Pack 41, was actually very quickly put out of production. And overall was only used for a bit before they had to switch away from it, so that's a little fun side note there. MD42 setting up here. We can see the overall Baumy's a bit on retreat here. Not suffering any further losses. 2 Kryptic and the 78th Sturm Division. South here, Pioneers advancing. That one's just creeping me out, that demo charge. We got the support crop there for Kryptic to push out a medium tank here before Baumy can. But Baumy, on the other hand, is still close to it. Having already got the mechanized armor company up, and he can soon then push for a medium tank, the T-3476. It will be behind Kryptic's Panzer IV if that's what it's aiming for. Push up for the center. We got Panzer VI up here as well. You can see Kryptic's really taking the armored fleet seriously now. He's taking it very seriously with Raketen Panzerbüchse and Panzer up their Kanone. Pioneer's screwing up here. Note he's trying to take a deeper flanking route there to avoid anything there. In this case, spots the Maxim, which should actually set up for it. In this case, the Maxim actually spots and then deals with the enemy, so that I was going to get close, maybe a rifle grenade. Double mortar is going to be a problem there for Kryptic. No rifle grenade here by the Grenadiers, it seems. Now trying to project with the Pioneers again. Mortar fire landing far away from the Grenadiers, shattering a fence, but no Germans. Trying to get close here still. This is probably when encirclement with sprint would have been quite helpful. We could actually pop to tactical movement, but in this case, too late. Rifle grenade off. So a few missed opportunities there by Kryptic. Going for the Panzer IV there, the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Troops here being aggressively pursued there by Russian infantry, and mortar fire continues to land down. Pioneers almost being knocked out, and likely will die there. MD42 covering up. Oh! Still gets the MD4 to the Pioneers, but at least it didn't get the Grenadiers. The MG42 is technically still intact, though it's going to take quite a bit of cleaning up first. So that was quite a nasty hit there, and definitely a big boom there for Baumy. Got his meanwhile getting pwned by heavy mortar fire there. The double mortars there for Baumy, making it really difficult for Kryptic to use his infantry. But we do have the Panzer IV out here, and now Baumy's in a situation where he does not have any sort of threat to the Panzer IV, except mines, though, which is still more than what Kryptic can, but otherwise he's going to struggle there versus the Panzer IV. He is going for the T-34-6. But Kryptic's going to be a lot more well equipped for that one. Hitting the cutoff point there, could even steal the MG42 there with the shock troopers. Panzer IV and T-70 nearby. There we go. Shoots at the T-70, misses. Pack 4 being swarmed by Russian engineers. Pack 40 got a hit off in the T-70. Continued pressure up here in the east. Panzers need to retreat. Took lessons from mines. Oh dear. Shock troops need to disperse though. Oh, and no, he's not seeing an MG42 there. Gonna be his doing what they can. Panzer gonna just got wiped quite a lot there for Kryptic. Too much going on for him there. And we got incendiary barrage down on the MG42 inside the house here. Panzer gonna do this with Panzer X trying to deal with the enemy. Oh dear, oh dear. There we go, house is very much an inferno, an oven, and engineers got white flamethrower dropped. Kryptic is under some severe pressure. He's not retreating the MG42, looks like he's not realising what's going on there. Baumy's basically taking advantage of all the things that's going on. They're catching him off guard. In fact, in this case, it turns out it's not so much Kryptic that are treated, but basically when the house catches on fire, any units inside will automatically get out. So in this regard, he got saved by like the game mechanics. But the MG42 still lost, but he can reclaim it. Pretty rough situation here for Kryptic. But oh, this is basically one of the ways you can use artillery. Like, you just have a lot of things going on at the same time, and you sort of try to hit a specific target your opponent might quite be paying attention to, and that way you get them wiped. That was a common, by the way, trick to use artillery in Company as 1. That's a fun fact. Constantly quickly securing the flamethrower there. The Rock 3, I believe. The Rock 2. Besides having the rifle, by the way, or sort of the bit where shoot out the flame from actually disguised as a rifle, the backpack itself, or the flamethrower tank, was also disguised as a backpack, so that way try and further, you know, disguise the flamethrower operator from the enemy, because flamethrower operators tend to be very much big targets. They also tend to be hated targets, so if they got captured, it was not uncommon for the common soldier to just drag them besides everybody else and shoot them. Flamethrower operators and snipers were generally very, very hated troops amongst the infantry. And generally no mercy was extended there whatsoever. Going to just bring up the eastern side, Panzer IV supporting here. T-10 remaining there on spotting duties. Sort of roughly 50-50 split here on the map, though, with a big victory point lead there for Baumy. Kryptic there is falling a bit behind despite his initial good start. There again, the lack of anti-tank, or rather allowed Baumy to switch things around. There you go, got a Shogun on the way to support this Panzer IV here versus Russian armour. Not a bad idea, not a bad idea. Sandbags on the centre victory point. 6-3, they're firing away at the Panzer IV. Landing a nice penetrating hit on the side armour. Shock proceedings through the south there. Baumy maintaining reasonably good map control versus Kryptic. Enforcement troops setting out, and they're going before 2 holding up the shock troops. You've got a smoke grenade off this, screening off the shock troops, allowing them to get close to the machine gun. Kryptic there, quick to reposition. We also got the T-50 we're going to take advantage of them in this Pack 40 here. Going from Osman instead of the troop for more folks in the infantry, not a bad idea I suppose. And shock troops basically just switched away towards the fuel point itself. No immediate response there. He might be worried, of course, as an anti-tank. We got the T-70 spotting ahead. Field gun equipped and willing to support. Panzer IV advancing. Pack 40 not quite there. Osman almost done there for Kryptic, and the 78th Sturm Division. T-54 being fixed up here a bit brazenly there by Baumy, to be honest. Another T-54-6 on the way for Baumy and the 10th Tank Corps. Pack 40 Panzer IV both missed the T-34. Bit unfortunate there for Kryptic. And the Seneca is advanced, but quickly held back by the constable with the flamethrowers in the east here. Could pressure up a bit more towards the fuel point there, I suppose. In the south, though, Baumy is making really good progress here. Kryptic's response so far has been, shall we say, not very spirited. Got the Flak Panzer Army there for the German army. Deutschland. And there you go. Field gun there, caught in a mistake there as Baumy did too far ahead out in the open. And Kryptic is wanting to immediately destroy this dreaded piece of equipment. He needs to get the Osman and then support immediately as well, but he's not. In fact, he is not committing a lot to this. Which could allow here Baumy to get the field gun back in control. He should be pushed down with the Osman and everything through here maybe, or sort of go through here instead. And he's got a pretty good flanking opportunity to hit the mortars and some other elements. Seems like Kryptic isn't quite going there. This guy, I think, I'll have an opportunity to do some damage there, and then again, there's an Osman or T-54 moving up to support there. Second pack 40 for Kryptic, more anti-tank, maximum rating here to cover the Kharkov point. Panzer going to be inside the house here with their Panzerschrecks. You could actually fire Panzerschreck from inside the house despite what the unit itself says. The trick is that you had to basically open every window, every door and clear out all the interior so you weren't caught by the backblast. Same rules apply to Panzerfaust. In fact, I know you can do it with a Panzerschreck because more or less works the same principle. Anyways, you still had to prepare for that, otherwise you'd get yourself killed. There you go. Osman there quickly sort of set off. And note here again, he failed to support the Osman, I think, with his Panther 4. Anything like Pack 40 wasn't in good support either. So he basically ended up throwing away the Osman pretty fast. They're not the best assault. There we got a bomb grenade off there on the field gun. Wiping it again. But Panzers meanwhile taking heavy losses. Dropping a Panzerschreck for Baumy to utilise. Not good there. Pack 4 now being outmaneuvered again. T7 hit gun is going to rush forward there for the Panzerschreck, but they're getting pelted there by light fire. There we go. Great. And the T-34 almost got it. Almost got it. And he's trying to ram. He's trying to ram. Oh! Engine stalls out right in time. Right in time. Gets the T-34. Damn close there though for Kryptic. Damn close. But Baumy remains in control of both fuel pumps against Kryptic, giving him more or less a 3 times fuel advantage. Definitely a bit unfortunate there. Got the Pack 40, but it's all taking loss there from served armour. And a Panzerschreck was dropped there, but they're going to use for the need to utilise. Big loss there. And we got an incendiary barrels down here, dealing with support weapons around the Kharkov point. This is looking pretty grim for Kryptic, pretty grim. And the Pack 40 is about to get wrecked here by Baumy. That is pretty... Oh, we managed to recruit with the Pack 40 there. Bring up the Panther 40 support. Damn close here, the Pack 40 is about to get destroyed. But he managed to pull through the moonlight before grabbing up north here. Kryptic just overextending his forces quite gravely. Troops are healing and enforcing. He could maybe consider some relief infantry just to flood the field with some cheaper infantry. That way allow him to just harass and slightly pressure Baumy a bit map control wise. And there you go, we do have relief infantry there going up. Relief infantry going up. Damage in the Panther 4. Might have been popped a bit too soon there by Kryptic, since most of his infantry is actually back at his base and thusly is unable to assist immediately. And for that matter, unable to really sort of get the most out of the ability. And that way as many Ostrom, at which point again he can sort of maybe begin securing more territory here, while not expending, say, more precious infantry, which can then be utilised to support the tanks. Allowing for more offensive action there from Kryptic in a combined arms sense. Going the Kharkov 1 there, shock troops against the Grenadiers. Pack 40, Panzerjägers moving in there. MG42 arriving as well. Getting good kills on the shock troops. Grenadiers are taking man loss. We've got one awesome squad out here for Kryptic. I need to retreat the Grenadiers. There you go, almost got the shock troops. Grenade off. And there goes shock troopers run off. Panther 4 slowly moving ahead. They're supported by the Pack 40, 74-2 Pioneer standing about. Grabbing the eastern victory point there. Quick push towards here. Ostrom a bit forgotten here, but Kryptic. Also, most action seems to stall, so he can't that way get more casualties and thusly more Ostrom. He should allow himself, I think, to be a bit more aggressively. There we go, wreck the field gun. That's a pretty good move. And heading for the northern fuel point there using the Grenadier. Troops are healing reinforcing. Ostrom moving towards the fuel point there. Overall spend 190 munitions there, not 100 but just 90 munitions there to gain one Ostrom squad. Could have been, I think, timed a bit better and utilised a bit better there for Kryptic, but one is better than none, I suppose. The 2 would have certainly been better and 3 would have been great. And I think at this point though, Baumy's basically going to try and utilise that big fuel advantage he gained versus Kryptic just now push for an IS-2, which is going to be a lot harder for Kryptic to deal with. I mean, he can go for the Stuke here to buy time. Does have double pack forts and Panzer-6, but even then the IS-2 is going to be quite a challenge here for Kryptic, and this Baumy, you know, mishandles it severely. Meanwhile, though, he's bringing up a Cis-3 field gun to replace the one lost and yesterday helped contain Kryptic's armour. Definitely not a bad idea at all. Panzer not upgraded there, so they might have better versus infantry. Has destroyed there with a single geballte Ladung. Victory points though. Kryptic's quickly beginning to fall behind Baumy there. He's got the resource for the Stuke, he might of course bring up for another Panzer IV. In the meanwhile though, his first Panzer IV's gained virtually 2. It's now a lot harder there for his opponent's tank to deal with. At least frontally. Mines going down there. Good work by Baumy, just consistently mining there versus Kryptic. Laying down fields, which makes it a lot harder for Kryptic to advance safely on Baumy's lines. And there goes Stug on the way there, Sturmgeschütz. Panzer IV could do some repairs, but meanwhile they're moving to support the Grenadiers to go for the western victory point. Shoots, misses. Shots was moving, we got modified on the Grenadiers, Pioneer supporting here as well. Kryptic, I think he's trying a slightly different kind of approach here towards Baumy. I think a deep flank there could prove quite helpful with the sufficient armoured forces, though of course Kryptic is getting the forces for it. Shots in front of the Ostrom. The Ostrom basically completely, utterly outgunned this. They stand no chance. Panzer IV still in repair. Stuke, they're almost down there for Kryptic. Baumy on the hand getting really close to the eyes to the Joseph Stalin. And we got a lot of mines here. A lot of mines. That's going to make it very difficult there for Kryptic to just rush through. Very good set of mines. And there you go on the open shot. Troops getting gutted. Their body armour of increasingly little use, in particular that's the Panzer IV. Same time, troops are going for the Kharkov point, not bad. Panzer IV that takes a hit from the Cis-3 and it penetrates. And Kharkov there dealing with the Pack 40 force. That one to retreat, Stuke they're moving ahead. Some except it's back at the base, so it's not so much moving, and it's just parking. Quick about the Ladung there. A World War I tactic, by the way, basically a bundle of steel hand grenade warheads attached around one. Was initially used as sort of a demolition charge, improvised, and also an improvised anti-tank charge, and also used as that in the early stages of World War II. Sort of, you know, to deal with tanks there in the early stages. Was quite good at it. So that's sort of an interesting detail there. But I'm less sure about how common it would have been, and I think it would actually primarily been a pioneer tactic rather than say something Panzer Grenadiers was run about doing. As a fun note. Primarily saying that because pioneers were the ones that usually had the most access to, actual, hand grenades, since those were the ones, most primarily expected to use it as urban warfare and such specialists, close quarters. Assault troops, and they're also usually the ones that would carry around used huge satchels with grenades. Similarly, shock troopers, also basically assault engineers for the Soviet army, but also being the ones equipped with large grenade satchels, thusly giving them a lot of them. Up here in Guinness was the ND42, but the ND42 is in such a poor condition, it's going to take a sneeze there from the Russians to kill it. Or flamethrower burst, really. Need 2 points whilst down to 100 there. Kryptic needs to sort of launch a change in tactics here versus Baumy. Meanwhile, Baumy's just slowly waiting there, buying time, bleeding out Kryptic until he can bring out the IS-2. One thing for sure, also, he needs minesweepers. I'm actually surprised in that regard Kryptic has not gone for a single minesweeper team versus Baumy here. Gun is being absolutely annihilated. Those mortars are really causing hell. Absolute hell. That's of course proving the utility of mortars, be they Soviet or German. Oh, straight into the Pack 40 here. Target weak point will be pretty great there for Kryptic. Target civic point, Jürgen. Civic point. He didn't go for it. The T-34 thus escapes. And we got an incendiary barrage down the Pack 40, which is likely going to get wiped here. Rather than fortunately the Kryptic getting used up, getting annihilated by the enemy for 1200 rounds per minute for the back. And a Stuk about to go down to the field gun. Oh, scheiße, no, he gets away. Damn lucky there, Panther 4 flanking in. Panzerkampfwagen 4 to the rescue. There you go, hitting behind the SIS-3 there. Landing some good hits. With its machine guns and its main gun. Meanwhile, though, Baumy is just waiting and biding his time until calling the IS-2. We got another bout of relief infantry out there for Kryptic, though. With the inbound, is IS-2 might, of course, want to stay up to a close air support. Of course, he might not be anticipating it because, well, most players rarely go for it. Though, of course, in this case, Baumy is clearly going to be the exception. So there you go. IS-2, Joseph Stalin, 2 tank. There's also the IS-1, but that one really didn't see any action at all. As they basically went straight ahead for the IS-2, skipping more or less the IS-1, which maybe I've seen some prototyping and some light test action, but that's about it. The IS-2 moving ahead, equipped with the 152mm gun. The gun barrel is designed for taking out fortifications and dug-in German units. Not so much for actually fighting tanks, which also explains its really slow rate of fire, because again, it's meant for taking on fortifications, not fighting tanks. That sort of highlights there a bit of an interesting detail about the search and the use of armour. They never sort of really heavily designed the tanks for taking on other tanks. They generally sort of doctrinally leave that to tank destroyers and light. But there, guys, 2 shoots the Panzer 4, gets a good hit. Panzer 4 shoots, misses. It also had a low munitions count overall. I think only care about 30 shells, so it had to quickly move back to reload and rearm. More mines going off again. The lack of minesweepers is proving quite detrimental for Kryptic. There's now getting a lot more Ostrom out there. A lot more cheap infantry to make up for the gaps in his ranks. No, we're just pressing the map more versus Baumy. Got the Disco there on the IS-2. Fun fact, the SOT heavy armor was only the really few, and really basically the late war stuff. It's the only stuff they actually had pintle-map machine guns too. It was not only like the Cold War and the T-55. I think they actually should begin adding heavy machine or pintle-map machine guns to the sort of main tanks. That's a little fun side note. Mines down. Panther 4 Stug sitting out there. He's got 2 Panther 4s, 1 Stug, 2 Pak 40s. Ostrom advancing, basically using the scouts as a spot ahead for his opponent, for his opponent's positions. Not a bad tactic at all. They're pretty, expendable at this stage of the fight. So using, scouts that way is a pretty efficient way of utilizing them. So where will Fortune strike next? Oh, Kryptic. I mean, I keep calling him Fortune for some reason. Because for some reason, I got this at the internet that Kryptic is from Finland, despite him being Dutch. And for some reason, I know Fortune is, from Finland as well. So for some reason, my brain just screws up like that. I don't know. Again, my apologies to both players, Kryptic and Fortune. It's just me screwing up there. I have no real excuse for it. Loss though being inflicted here on Kryptic by Baumy. We got the tank under heavy fire there. Field gun, IS-2 got the T-Federal flank from the north. Panther 4 knocked out, units swiped out. Overall, looks like a rather sort of scattered attack there by Kryptic. Seems like a bit dithering about there, but I wanted to do. Panther 4, they're catching the T-34 from 6, but T2 there. Pak 40 caught out on the other as well. He's really trying to get it here. One more shot, and T-34 bounces again. Rather lucky there for Baumy. 2 T-34 bounces against the Panther 4. No, he moves ahead straight into a mine. Ends up about to lose his Panther 4 again. The lack of minesweepers is proving absolutely critical here for Baumy, then just holding down Kryptic's movements. And that's why you generally get minesweepers. So this is looking pretty active there for Kryptic. Just lost 2 Panther 4s. He got the IS-2 though. Actually got taken out there by Pak 40s. Missed that one by the way. My apologies. So I mean, it's not all bad, but still losing 2 Panther 4s for that is not frightfully encouraging. He still hasn't, gained any actual ground. That's probably Kryptic's biggest issue, because he's still bleeding out in victory points, because he's overall not making any noticeable gains. So this is rather rough for him. Stug shoots, misses. Panther actually connect there. Stug lands a second hit. There we go. Got Veteran 2. Schützen added. Maximum creeping up for the south. He's going to need some possibly more relief infantry just to fill up more infantry, just push ahead. But he also needs, I think, to try and flank more versus Baumy. Try and catch him a bit off guard with some assault troops. Shock with the other hand, flanking the MD42 quite nice. And there you go, got the grenade off. That's going to be a wipe. And he's going to steal it. Oh, he can't steal it unless he wants to sacrifice his shock troopers, which I don't think is what he wants. Oh, mine goes off. Suppressing grenadiers and conscripts alike. Maxim versus Stu, pin up machine away. They're going to be losing out as well. Chaos and Anarchy reign. CS Kryptic now just sort of dashes forwards here. More relief infantry. More Ostrom. Stu blasting away at this Max. Max getting several kills. Several kills now. That's half. Whoa! That Stu is on fire. Holy smokes! It just almost sniped the entire Maxim crew on its own. Good lord. That's pretty impressive. That's impressive though, is Kryptic's kind map control. That is one impressive Stook. And meanwhile though, Baumy is clearly getting close to the second IS-2. That's going to be quite a chance there for Kryptic, since now it doesn't have 2 Panther 4s. More Ostrom arriving there though. And another Panzerkampfwagen here, not trying to up for a Tiger at the moment. Understandable though, considering the old situation. Saving up for a Tiger will basically put too many resources on hold for too long, allowing Baumy to basically get ahead of him. So he just wants more forces out now. I do think you should consider maybe adding in some more Panzer Grenadiers or something. But there you go, heading for the point here, taking losses. Mortifier there continues to remain an absolute pain in the posterior there for Kryptic and the 78th. Sturm Division. We'll probably use the Ostrom to grab the MB42 back in service of Deutschland. Pack machine gun Stu covering the center, Panther 4 Grenadiers MB42 covering the eastern side, and west side is less covered. Though we got Ostrom and Grenadiers being pushed forwards here to hold that ground versus Baumy. But now he actually holds all 3 victory points, I think, for the first time in quite some time. And we can see that Baumy has been forced back. He's also been forced to put a lot of things on hold until he could get out the IS-2. So that also means Kryptic basically has more time to just secure territory. And lastly, he's rewarded for not just trying to stay out for a Tiger here. And of course, he's still going to have to deal with the IS-2, which is still going to be a problem. Awesome Grenadiers bringing ahead there for Kryptic. Alright, Petrov, when you see the fascist tanks, aim, then shoot. Alright, shoot, then aim. No, aim, then shoot, Petrov. Come on, it's not that hard. MD42 is going to have a really bad day. There's the IS-2 moves in. Plus, of course, we've got the mortars blasting there as well. I'm pushing up through here. Thankfully, no mines from Lieutenant Baumy, so we can afford to be a bit more aggressive. They still need to be careful. Behind the also got the field gun there. And the lack of mortars makes it harder than for Kryptic, so they just lay down smoke screens to silence the mortars. We got Ostrom up for the cough, and we got engineers dealing with them. Oh, got the T-54 with the Stuke, but the Panther 4's about to get killed. Got stuck on a tree. Rather unfortunate path in there for Kryptic. He has my sympathies. Troops are reinforcing healing, and there you go. IS-2 strength to the Pack 4 as they're penetrating the armor. MD42, they're getting very close to Veteran 3. Pretty good work there by Kryptic actually getting it there, and there we go. Veteran 3. And it's the most elite machine and gewehr crews in the entire 78th. Stuke halfway there, we got Intended Bears with further force pushing back. The Pack 40 is opening up for the IS-2 to push further ahead there against Kryptic. Very good work. He's pushed there, but they got the T-70 guarding the point. You might want to go for another Stuke here, I suppose go for a Panzer 4. But he's pushing up nonetheless against that eastern victory point. Awesome there. Caught by the IS-2 and annihilated. Stuke trying to drop to the tank fire from the SIS-3. And T-70 being slowly pushed back. He's moving in the Stuke there. Getting rather chaotic. Nothing to defend the southern point. We got another battle relief infantry for Kryptic. He's certainly staking all on it. But increasingly, of course, the question might be he might also want to stay out a bit for some Stuke close air support instead. I mean, he's got a decent amount of Ostrom. I don't think a lot more Ostrom can do great deal there for Kryptic, so I feel like he's a bit stuck in a pattern that doesn't necessarily do a lot of good for him. Baumy size 2 there rolls down the fields. Got Ostrom down at his counterattack there, maybe for taking hits, but there goes Duke far back. And lands a good penetrating hit. Target weak point certainly held out here. Shock was pushed back round before two gun. The Ostrom fire pack 40 moving in as well. No target weak point there though from Kryptic. No target weak point. We got Panzer Grenadiers, we got Ostrom. We also got every victory point now back under control of Baumy and the 10th Tank Corps. And it is Ostrom being annihilated there. We just got so many Ostrom out here for Kryptic. So many Ostrom. They're sadly not getting quite fast in the field, and they can't really attack forts and secure the territory. They can hold it a bit, but they can't really gain territory. Not with that many veteran infantry and support weapons and the likes. Plus, they're adding in quite a severe manpower bleed there to Kryptic, so it's starting to look rather risky. He's gaining the central one. He's gaining the eastern one. He's down to 17 victory points. They're going to get really close here for Kryptic. Going to get really close. Stuke halfway to 83. Ours 2 being fixed up. There's mortars though. There's mortars. Stuke opening up there on the eyes too. If we get to it, that's going to do a lot of good there for Kryptic. Push towards here. Ostrom advancing into the Maxim. Not caring about casualties, but they're going to lack some. They're going to need to flank. We would actually use the tactical movement to rush past. Get on the other side of the Maxim cleared out that way. That would be actually a pretty good choice there for Kryptic. That so far has only used the G for the fleets and the relief infantry. He's not made use of much else here from the doctor, to be honest. Troops being suppressed all across as they try to push ahead here. Rifle grenades, there you go. Double rifle grenades there on the Maxim, wiping it out there. Can't secure the way of Ostrom as they're two both in the north here. Fending off reinforcements, and the centre victory point shocks are being hit there as well. He's going to need to counterattack, but at the same time, we got that two up north. He can't really move down the Stuke or his back four to deal with that. Except they're just going to bypass entirely and go for where it matters there. And that's, I think, quite a solid decision there by Baumy. Should actually just use the depleted Ostrom to grab the machine gun and turn it against Baumy there. Attack forward, moving back, Panther moving towards the centre. Need to get the Stuke down as well. Getting rather chaotic here. Again. Crewing the Maxim there with the Ostrom. Good work. Panther push back. Ostrom push back. Pack forward is moving in. MB42 just blasting away there. Very low in health. Very low in health. Panther moving down southwards. We got the RS2 still hanging about here. Pandemonium range across the front line there. Now we got Baumy rolling ahead here. He's striking where he wants. There you go. Taking hits from the pack forward. We've got target weak point there. Target weak point. Oh, it wears out, it wears out. Still several hits there. Stu needs to get down there. It is not. Panther that gets behind the eyes too, but gets knocked out before he can actually do anything. Another pack 40 hit in the RS2. Almost got it, almost got it. But it gets away. Sadly, the Stuke was nowhere to be seen, and lastly, Baumy's eyes too gets away. $14 points left here for Kryptic. Stuke flanking in here against the mortar. Huge force there from Kryptic. So many Ostrom and a few Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers. All charging ahead. Stuke catching the SIS-3 there. MD42 moving in. T-70 still occupied. Mostly he's just using it as a spotter at this point, which is actually a pretty good way of using the T-70 in the late game. Just use it as a spot to gain the most out of range, just most intelligence about your opponent. So that's a pretty sneaky move. Lost the inflicted, but nicely grabs the point. They did lose his veteran T3 MD42. But those are how desperate things are for Kryptic. I mean, he's down to 4 victory points. He can't really afford not to risk it. And there goes Ostrom. Panzer's pushing ahead. They're catching field gun off guard. He's going to need Pioneers to repair this Duke, but he doesn't have it. IS-2 being repaired. We got his T-50 on the way there. 4 points left. Another Stuke there for Kryptic and the 78th Sturm Division here versus the 10th Tank Corps. Stuke on the way there. But he doesn't have any Pioneers to repair the first one, so he's a bit more distance, so it doesn't get easily outmaneuvered there. You got a pack 40 setting up there again. Low health, no numbers. Kryptic's forces are extended to the max. Hitting the carve point. Target weak point though. Target weak point as soon as you can hit Kryptic. Fire Sahid rounds. Auto Sahid rounds. There we go. Stand up the eyes too, but they still can't quite pursue. Landslide got another good hit. The engineers. Grenadiers wiped. And we got T-34 flanking from the north here. Well, he's attempting to. Got the T-71 with his Pack 40s there. Need to get that Stug up there. 4 points left. There you go. T-34 moving in. Stug is... Stug's moving up. They're getting held down by the aim before 2 T-34 going for the centre. Stug continues to advance. Stug kept waiting. And there you go. Got the R2 moving ahead again. The Cis-3 moving up. Target weak point again. Sahid rounds. Wer Sahid rounds. 9 Fritz. Sattertamus. This is an Ersatz Cafe. Virtually free, but no target weak point. He forgot about it. Missing an opportunity to stun the eyes too. He's going to lose the Stug here. Even the best. Oh, there you go. Target weak point, but no, it fails. It fails. The target weak point fails. Still doing a lot of damage to virtually free. And it takes out the R2, but not before the R2 takes out. They've just been a bit faster than the target weak point. The Pack 40 probably could have won there. It's calling in more Stugs, but Kryptic's infantry force are getting increasingly depleted there. He's down to so little. He's got no machine guns to defend any of the points, and now Baumy's just swarming every single one of them. Every single one of them. Stug rolling back. Stug, they're getting blasted by... not entirely sure what. Ah, it's a field gun that's snug up behind. Cheeky Kryptic there going to do his wipe, and with that I would say it's pretty much GG there. 1 point secured, the arm about to get secured, and there you go. No chance now for Kryptic. He fought valiantly, but in the end couldn't quite pull through. Couldn't quite pull through. KB8 out there for Baumy. And GG, game over here. Brutal fight, a brutal spectacle, a brutal slaughter on this map with a lot of casualties here. Almost 250 men lost there for Kryptic. Quite brutal again. A lot of them obviously being Ostrom here. However, I think for Kryptic the issue was just he felt now quite fully focused sort of at times through the fight that there's sort of a lack of cohesion in his larger plans. There's sort of, you know, attacking here and attacking here, but there's no sort of feeling that they're part of a bigger plan. And there's also very little flanking from Kryptic, meaning sort of some tunes really do damage to Baumy. You know, hit his mortars and loss of his own mortars. There was also quite big there against Baumy. You know, really did a lot there for Baumy. So those are some of the things that I think sort of turned against Kryptic. Also, just too many Ostrom around that are using his munitions and other things. There was also a definite lack of mine from Kryptic. And I think that was all on this bigger issue. You know, there's no telemines, no S-mines, and no minesweepers. There's sort of a lot of small mistakes there cropping up for Kryptic there, whereas Baumy just played a very confident but also different game there. And that was probably also what slightly threw off Kryptic. I mean, he might have been anticipating penal troopers, but Baumy was having none of that. He was just conscript into mortars, into maxims, into field guns, and whatever. And he actually did quite well with it, plus T-34. I mean, overall well played though. Baumy certainly also off-the-shelf strategy, and you know, further also good use of the IS-2s there. So overall, I mean, well played by Baumy, good play by Kryptic, but ultimately in the end, there's just too many, I think, early game mistakes for really allow him to pull through in the end there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay of your own and point some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dating. Cheers. Thank God for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. And of course, a big thanks to all my patrons and supporters, without which this episode would not have been possible. Thank you all. Cheers.